What's going on, everyone? It's your man Chris Z here, back with another video, 100 Agency, and today's going to be the truth behind Kevin Samuels. Now, everybody's big right now because just, I think it was last night, no, yesterday morning, around that time, Kevin Samuels passed away, age 56. They say a heart disease, heart attack got him, all right? And I'm not going to be able to do the astrology on him today, but this is going to be my personal take on the entire matter of everything he's done, what he stood for, and everything that is going to be. Now, me, I was big on Kevin Samuels all throughout the beginning half of 2021. From basically from like January to like May or not, or if June, I was big watching Kevin Samuel videos every time I could. At home, at work, he used to make me laugh. The way he was making his short videos were funny, but besides the way he was funny, the points you were bringing up, I tried my hardest to debate them. I tried my hardest to debate them. I tried to, as much as I could. I am not a person who hates people. I will be quick to put you in your place if you say something that's not right. I'm the type of person who will do that, but I don't hate people. Men, women, don't matter. But the more and more I watch his videos, the more and more I try to find holes in his logic based on the topic he was trying to bring up and he was trying to push out to the people. Now you see the way I'm dressed right now, I had to dress for the occasion. This is kind of how he dressed. He had the glasses on, he had the suit, he had everything on, right? He would have like a bottle of scotch in the corner of the room. That's how Kevin Samuel. He had that little toy thing. You all know what that thing was, the swinging back and forth. Everybody remembers the music in the videos if you were following him, right? Now let me just make one thing clear. This man had been let down and damaged by women in his life. That's just a clear fact. That is a clear fact. But this man didn't hate women. No, he didn't. Because the same standards and things he was saying to women, he would make videos about men too. Everybody was big on him because of what he was saying about women. And it's why you have news articles calling him, a feminist, misogynist, things like that. But Kevin Samuels would bash, quote unquote, bash men too. Because basically, this is how a Kevin Samuel video will go. He would ask you your age. He would ask you your bank account. He would rate you on a scale of 1 to 10 if you were a woman, or he would ask you, how good are you sexually as a man? And the main thing he was trying to do with that is to get you to realize this is how you rank in society. This is your place in society. This is how you rank in society. This is what you're going to be able to get in society. And the problems with people would come here. It would come this way. After he made the assessment based on objective factors that people were confirming to him out their own mouths, they would be like, nah, you're wrong. With everything that you just gave me an assessment on, you're wrong. I should actually be here. I should actually be able to get this person. I should be able to get this job. I should be able to get this lifestyle, all of that. Now, let me break that down for you to make it even clearer. I'm gonna give you an actual example. I'm gonna start with the men. Before we get into the women, I'm gonna start with the men. He would say, how old are you? You probably tell him like 30, 31. How much money you make? Make like $45,000 a year. I'm an engineer. And then he would ask you, how good were you sexually in bed? Or how long is your member? And then they will give him, it was about average. This about average. He's like, okay, so you just hit your 30s. You make a minimum wage in America. Minimum wage for a man in America across all of America is about that number, about 45, 50 grand a year across America. And the man, just say for the sake of argument, said he was average. He would tell you, you would deserve to get an average woman. A woman that would rate like a 4, maybe a 5, mostly a 4, would be like one number under you. And you would be able to find that woman, and she would have to work a job too. And then for the rest of your lives, you'll be able to raise a family. And men would be sitting there being like, oh no, well, I have this job coming up, or I might get promoted in this job or this field. That didn't matter. That didn't matter. If if you were talking about something you were going to have. The main point is when you called Kevin Samuels, because he never called people, invited them to the show. Or at least 99% of the people called into his show, went onto his live streams on YouTube to talk to him, schedule an appointment with him. And after he would give you the assessment, they would question him. So if you're calling somebody to get their opinion, their advice on what's going on about you and your reality, why are you not questioning that person? You spent the time, you spent the money, whatever you did to talk to him. And the points you were making were not wrong. The average man makes about 45 something grand a year. The average man across America, there are like over 300 million people in America. So let's say half of those are men, 150 million, right? And now let's half it again. Let's like half it again. Let's say about, let's just say about like 60 million. 60 million men are within working age of like 21 and up. On average, across 60 million men just in this country alone make about $45,000 a year. And these type of men would be thinking or asking him, oh, you know, how do I get the bad girl of my dreams? You're not gonna get the bad girl of your dreams. You don't fall into that category. Was he saying you were a horrible person because of it? No, he just kept it real. And people don't want to hear the truth. He kept it real. That's all he did. That's all he did. Now, did he say things that rubbed me the wrong way? Of course he did. But what he was saying was really real when it referred to me as well. What he was saying was really real, was really true when it came to me as well when I was hearing these videos. Now, I happen to not be in as bad as a situation as most of these men are calling him. And I was working a job at that time, and I would spend hours grinding up, hours at that job, hours. And I had a plan like every other man to become more successful than I was at that point. But at the end of the day, I wasn't there yet. It doesn't matter where you think you're gonna be. Majority of men in America fall into this bracket. Everything you told me about yourself that you confirm for yourself puts you in this bracket. You're not, for the most part, if you're already at that age, if you're in your 30s and up, for the most part, you're not gonna get there. And that's not a bad thing. Everybody has this idea, this stigma in their mind. I haven't even gotten to the women yet, but this applies to everybody, what I'm saying. There's a stigma in your mind that you cannot be average. We live in this society, we live in America where everything has to be bigger than life, larger than life. You have to have the biggest car, the biggest house, the biggest family, the biggest bank account. Everybody collectively trying to go for the best, do the best, be the best, do the best. And nobody wants to accept and be satisfied with the fact of I've gotten this far in my life and this puts me here. I'm good with it. Everybody thinks, no, I gotta have more. And so you create a sense of delusion, which is the planet Neptune in astrology, just to let y'all know. You create this sense of delusion about yourself that you can get more than what you want. So he's not trying to sit there for an extra 45 minutes, for an extra hour, trying to convince you of something that's just not going to happen. No, that's when he would start to get mad or say things to get people mad, pissed off. He already gave you the assessment. I don't know why you're trying to change it. It doesn't matter how many extra factors you give in. The average is the average. Society would not work. America would not work if everybody was quote unquote above average. It's not possible. You need somebody to work a 9-to-5 job. You need somebody to be a pizza delivery driver. You need somebody to be a trucker. You need somebody to be a baseline engineer. You need somebody to be a regular general doctor. These are all things that society needs to function. We need to stop thinking as men right now, average means bad. No, it doesn't. Average does not mean bad. No, it doesn't. Not at all. Not in the slightest, not at all. And he would also tell men who were wasting their time trying to be DJs, trying to be rappers and all this stuff too. Like, man, all these men who are working at McDonald's and all these minimum wage jobs, like, bro, you in your 30s now. You need to get your career straight. Another thing in astrology, once you hit around 28 years old, that's your Saturn return. That's when life literally hits you and be like, if you're not straight right now, society in society across the world will consider you a bum. This is for a man. If you're around 20 to 30 years old, past your Saturn return, and you're still working at a 9-to-5 job that a high schooler can work at, that a high schooler can that a high schooler is supposed to be getting, you consider a bum. Doesn't matter where you go, you consider a bum if you're around that age and you're still working at. He was telling men like this, you need to be spending about 40, if not 50 hours weekly. Then that's bare minimum. Around that age, you should honestly, he was saying about close to like 60, 70, 80 hours per week, trying to get your money up, get your own place, get your own apartment, get yourself set up. And if you really want to get that promotion for your job or whatever, that might boost you from what, like 45,000 to what, maybe 75K. Now you're going from like the average amount of man, which is like what, 50% of the population. Now you put yourself in the top like 30%. But still, you're not gonna break that 100K margin at that job. It's just that job you picked, the career you picked, which works well for you, which makes you happy. That's the amount of money you're gonna get for it. Do what makes you happy. Don't be chasing the money. You're gonna hate your life. That was my takeaway from that. And I was working a job at 21 years old at that time, watching 21 years old at that time, watching him. I was 20. Working 30, 40 hours a week. Sometimes I would push 50. And the weeks I pushed 50, I almost passed out. My productivity at that job I was working at the time was going down. My coworkers were telling me, Chris, are you all right? Like your productivity is very, very down. Like you're missing stuff, you're forgetting things. Because I was watching Kevin Samuels all the time. He put stress and pressure on me to try to be something greater than I was. And then I started to realize, damn, maybe I'm not really built out for this job world or this blue collar world that he was talking about. Because I'm trying to hit the numbers he was trying to tell that we needed to hit, and I couldn't do it. And keep in mind, I was 20 and he was usually talking to men who were like 25 and 30 plus. He didn't even want people on the show who were like 20 years old, who were men. If you were a woman, he would take you on. If you were a man, he was like he would have basically said, get off my show. You're still a little child. Don't come on my show. So I was going harder than I need to, but that's a good trait. I had a good trait. At least I know I'm the type of person who was willing to do all that. But he wouldn't even let me on the show. He's like, you're too young. You don't know nothing about life. But that's what, but he's here. He was here to tell you the truth. He was here to tell you this is how it is. This is how it is, how society is. And that's not a bad thing. Now let's get to the best part. The women. The women. How did he speak on the women, right? Right. I ain't got the tie on. You know, I couldn't come the best dress. I couldn't come the best dress for this, but you know, I'm trying to hit the Kevin Samuels look. I'm trying, right? Let's talk about the women. Now, this is what got me hooked. But I think the first video I did watch of him was a man video or something like that. One of the first couple were the man videos, but it was the women videos, right? I'm gonna use the same factors I used for a man because he did the same thing. They were a little bit different. The factors that he used for the women, right? How much did you weigh? How much do you make? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself? All right, woman given their weight. She said she weighed about 185. Oh yeah, he would ask for height as well. He would ask for height. So he actually would ask like 4 things for women and about 3 things for men. Your height, 180, you're about 5'7", 5'7". She makes around 60 grand a year. Listen to what I'm telling you. And she would rate herself about 6. Yeah, 60 grand a year, and she rated herself about a 6. Let's just say that. Here's where the problems will come in. He would tell her, oh yeah, and her age would be around 29. Let's say like 29. And at that time, now he would say, okay, let's assume she didn't have kids. Let's say she didn't have kids yet. For that woman, he would be like, you qualify for a man that makes about that same number as you, about $60,000 to less than that, about 45 grand. You will find a plethora of men who on average make around 40 to 50 grand a year that would love to marry you. You would be there or you could, at the highest, find a man who makes about just as much as you. You're not going to get a man who's higher than that. This is where women would flip. This is where all the discrepancy comes from all of his videos, all of his most famous videos. Let me say that. This is where all the narratives on the media come from about him. Because in this society, remember what I said, we are taught, aim for the best, aim for the best, aim for the best, aim for better. Don't be satisfied with what you are, what you've accomplished in your own life. Be satisfied with what society tells you should have. That's what all the problems came from. That's where all the problem came from. And how would he justify that? Remember what I said. There are about 60 million on average, rough ball number, men in this country. 60 million. You're only one woman. You will never see 60 million. You will never see a million different guys in your life. 60 million on average. On average, I'd say the average would be about like 70 to 80%. So 70 to 80% of 60 million, let's just say that's like 45 to 49 million men. A little bit higher than that. Will only make that amount of money. The men who make more than that, they're going to want more than what that woman would have to offer. Because everything that that woman could offer that man, a loving house, support, enjoyment, children, right? He can find all of those traits in a woman who's younger than that woman at that point in time. He can find all of those same traits that that woman could give to the man she's looking for that's making more than her. If she's making 60, she's probably bare minimum looking for a man who's making 80. That's a 20K difference. If a man is really making 80 to 100, that man, if you're making 80 to 100, you are now in the top 10% of all men across this country. You are now in the top 10% of all men who run this country. That's like the top 6 million. If you're using the 660 number I gave out, that's about 10%. Those 6 million men could find everything that you can give, but just in a woman that's younger than you, who has less experience and doesn't have kids just like you don't. Or if you have kids who don't have kids. He wasn't saying that to bash the woman. He wasn't saying that to bash the woman. Now, has he said some wild things? Yes, he has. Women are leftovers, da-da-da-da-da. You a bird woman. But again, the only reason he had to come, he does those things, which would be considered mean, is because he's been in calls with women who would try to cuss him out, dog on him, dog on men, dog on their fathers, dog on their past husbands. And the only problems they would be having with their past fathers or past husbands are that they didn't make enough money to support them. Bare minimum, they didn't make enough money to support them, or the man did something that they did not specifically like. It didn't even necessarily need to be cheating. They could have done something that the man could have done something that the woman didn't like, and so she filed divorce. And at that point in time, she could have had kids with the man, and she decided to divorce the man just because he didn't completely satisfy her with her needs relative to the amount of money he was making, or how he was treating her 24/7. There was a lot of standards that society tells women should have on men, women should have about men, that are just unrealistic for the majority of men. It's just unrealistic. It's unrealistic. He just tried to keep it real with men and women across the board. He just tried to keep it real. You can get this, you can get that, and you would have a happy life, happy lifestyle, and you will have everything that you need. Life ain't perfect for anybody. There is no such thing as a perfect existence for anybody. Doesn't even matter if you make millions or billions of dollars. Perfect example, Kim and Kanye right now. Perfect example, Travis Scott and Kylie Jenner right now. Perfect example, Jay-Z's relationship with Beyonce over the years. Perfect example, Rihanna and Chris. I can keep going on. The money ain't gonna make you happy. The money ain't gonna make you happy. It's not gonna make you happy. It's not. But there are certain people that only certain people get met with. There are only certain people, because you fall into this bracket of society and life. And it's not going to work out any other way when you try to go for more than you currently have or more than you currently can provide for. When you're trying to shoot above your margin. That's not how it works. You have to play within the realm of reality you have control over. You can't just jump into a world that you have no access to. I'm still on the women right now when I say this. It doesn't matter how much of this celebrity's lifestyle you know about. It doesn't matter how much you know about Ray J and all them. There's very little chance you're going to actually get into a situation when you meet them without money coming out your own pocket. If you fall into the category of woman that I made a description for, there's very little chance you're going to meet them without spending that money out your own pocket. And two, there's even less of a chance they will get with you, and there's damn near zero chance that they will keep you. If you're trying to go for the super celebrity person. Now, does that mean life is a lottery and life is unfair? No, no. And again, I told you, just because you're rich don't mean you're happy. No. We're just not at a point yet in society where everybody as collective has came together and said, maybe we should rethink about this. We're getting there. Trust me, we're getting there. We're getting there. But it's not going to come as soon as you think. It's going to be probably out of a majority of our lifetimes, past our lifetime into the next generation of people's lifetime, that they're probably going to figure it out. So he's gone. He just wanted everybody to realize that this is who you are. This is what you can get. This is what your figure, your heavenly person ordained for you. This is the lifestyle they ordained for you. You will never be put into a situation that you're not able to handle. You will never be put into a situation where everything that you're going to need will not be in some part of your reach or disposal. It does not. If you're a man, and you're within the average, which is most people, including me right now, it doesn't matter if I turn into a billionaire tomorrow. I'm still in the average for right now. So I have to act like I'm in the average because I am. You can't rely on what if or this is going to happen, because at the end of the day, until it happens, you can't confirm that. You just can't. Until what you say is going to happen, you can't confirm that. You just can't. You have to be able to love yourself, love your reality, love where you stand in the grand scheme of this whole world. This society is always going to push for bigger and better. This society is always going to be pushing for bigger and better. What you got to do is get with somebody that you know for a fact that is around your level, around yourself. Because I guarantee you, if you are in your 30s or 40s, man or woman, I could ask you, right? Have you gotten with a person before that generally made you happy in the past, but because they didn't have the right amount of money, or they weren't in this community, or they didn't talk this way, you had to end it to it? I could say that. I can say without a shadow of a doubt, everybody would say yes to that. You were with that one person, but it ended. And that's not a bad thing. People are meant to come in your life and come out of your life. I know a lot more than I do now because of astrology than I did then. I know a lot more about how reality works and how God works and all of that than I did then. But when it came to his arguments, like I said, I couldn't beat him. I couldn't beat him at the thing he was trying to present. Couldn't beat him at that. But I've been ranting for a little bit. How to get my 2 cents. I didn't hate the man. I didn't necessarily like him that much either. Again, I stopped watching his content about 6, 7, 8 months ago, because I got everything that I needed to know, and I realized even the lifestyle he was saying that I should be living relative to me watching his show, it didn't apply to me because I tried it, and again, it didn't work. Again, it didn't work. But he still wasn't wrong, because he wouldn't even take on men my age on his show because he still considered us babies. The only reason he did women between 18 to 21 is because a woman matures faster than a man. It's scientifically proven. There's another thing he would bring up, scientific facts. Women mature faster than men. They mature faster than men. That's why he would be able to take on an 18-year-old, a 20. He'd still have problems with 18, 9-year-old, 19-year-old women, but 20-year-old women and up. Men, he wouldn't take you on unless you were like 25. Learn to love yourself and just understand, be aware of your environment. What you've been seeing your entire life, who you've been seeing, the community you've been seeing your entire life and been around your entire life, more than likely, you're going to be living in some form of that community or carrying yourself as if you still live in that community, no matter where you go or what you get in your reality. What is that old adage? You can take a person out of a location, but you can't take the location out of a person. That's true. That's true. That's really true. That's true. Even though you can be better than you were before. That's true. That's true. And even me, I've told you, I've had a partner. I've had that, my longest relationship that I had. It wasn't even that long, but I had that kind of partner. But what I wanted at the time, she couldn't provide for me. And that's fine. And what she wanted out of me at the time, I couldn't provide for her. But I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I wanted sexual intercourse. She wanted marriage. I was a 20-year-old broke dude. Even though I had a job, there was no way I was going to be able to do a marriage. I had no money for that. I had no money for that. I didn't have a house to put her in. I didn't have any of that. I couldn't. It's not that I didn't want to. It's not that I didn't want to. Just I'm saying relationships will fail. You will find that person that you'll consider the one. You'll consider the one. That doesn't even mean that would be finally the one you had. But if you had 4 or 5 versions of the one, oh no, there's a problem. There is a problem. If you only had about 1 or 2 people that you considered the one, me in my life right now, I've only had 1 that I considered the one. I just could not provide what she wanted. And she could not provide me what I wanted at that time. So I had to end it. I had to end it because I'm just like, we're just fighting and it's getting frustrating at this point because I see you want the marriage and you can tell I want the sexual intercourse. I'm keeping it a buck. And if I had the money at the time, I would have done it. I really would have. But I respected her. I didn't force her to do anything that she wanted to do. I'm not the type of person who's going to do that. I'm not the type of person who's going to do that. And did it hurt? It did hurt. It took me 2 years. It's been 2 years since our relationship. I still am in the same community with her. It still hurts. It still hurts. It still hurts. But I've come to realize that through astrology, when I've learned about myself, she wasn't the one for me anyways. Not that she's a bad person. I'm not here to bash any of my exes or nothing like that. I'm not here to do none of that. Nor if you're a woman watching this, I don't want you to do that to any of your exes too, especially if they were good to you and it just didn't work out. Know your place, and that's not a bad thing. Know what you can do and what you can't do. That's not a bad thing. The more you come to accept yourself and the environment around you and stop saying that this isn't enough, I need more, the more you will love your reality. The more you just wake up every day and everything's a new adventure, you're calmer, you're more peaceful, things just come to you. That's manifestation. You got to stop being uncontent with where you are. Does that mean give up and stop trying to do more things? No, but you got to stop acting as if your reality right now isn't enough for you, or this person that came into your reality right now isn't enough for you. You got to stop that. You got to stop that. But you know, there's been Chris here, 100 Agency. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Whether you like them or not. Catch y'all next time. Let me end this off.